Hey everyone, I'm here with a Diddy trial update. Listen, this trial right now is a whole circus. It's a full blown circus. Get your popcorn, your cotton candy, and whatever you want to get, your soda. It's a circus. So now one of the workers comes in the building and his name is the Punisher. And he's here to tell his story. And again, I want them to get there in a clearer, solid line. I want them to get to the charges at hand. Now, I already did a video on the ex assistant who, of course, was given some type of deal. It's like all the people that could possibly have been part of the enterprise, they got deals. What does the prosecution want us to do with this case? I'm trying to figure this one out. But you know what? Let's go ahead. Let me share screen. Let's get introduced here to the Punisher, and then I'll do another video. We'll talk about Cassie mom, or maybe I'll squeeze it into this one. So exotic male dancer, the Punisher, records the first night with Diddy, Cassie, baby oil, Astroglide, and wigs. Okay. So Sheree, I hope I'm saying this incorrectly. Hayes, an exotic male dancer known as the Punisher, is testifying for the prosecution in the Diddy trial, telling the jury about the first encounter he had with Diddy and Cassie, saying a couple hired him to create a sexy erotic scene for them. That is he said get punished. I guess he got 215,000 followers. That is him. Okay. Hayes said he was first hired in 2012 when a woman called and booked him for a midnight gig at the Trump International Hotel in New York City. He says he was hired to perform a striptease for a group of people, but when he got to the room, he says it was just Cassie in a bathrobe in a wig. He told the jury Cassie told him that she and Diddy, neither of whom he recognized at the time, didn't want him to dance and instead wanted him to create a sexual scene with baby oil. And listen, Speedy Isaac, that's the Punisher right there. Let's take a look. They know what door to catch your people leaving.
Do you think that you're gonna get more calls after this?
Now that the TNC will be working her behind on.
Do you think that you're gonna get more calls after this?
She on the job. TMZ need to go ahead and give her some extra funds. So Hayes says the room was dimly lit with bottles of baby oil on deck, and Cassie told him they would apply baby oil and Diddy would eventually come out to watch, warning him not to acknowledge Diddy when he appeared. Hayes said Cassie handed him $800. He testified he stripped down to a towel and followed Cassie leaves and mimicked what she did, pouring baby oil on himself until he says Diddy entered the room with a bottle of Astroglide lubricant in his hand. He told the jury Diddy would give Cassie subtle directions, namely lighting adjustments and body positioning, and then Diddy and Cassie eventually went off by themselves into another room. He says Cassie later came back and asked if he wanted to finish, but he declined, and then Cassie paid him an additional $1,200. Hayes said he was hired about 8 to 12 times, and he didn't recognize Cassie and Diddy at first because Cassie had a wig and Diddy wore a head covering that only exposed the eyes. He said on a subsequent encounter, he came into the hotel suite and noticed a message displayed on the TV. The ex's house would like to welcome Mr. Sean Combs. He testified he was a fan of Diddy's and followed the mogul on social media. And after seeing the TV message, he recognized Cassie from Instagram photos with Diddy, and it all clicked. He testified the encounters would last for hours, but sometimes he would run into performance issues. He said Cassie and Diddy would offer him drugs and marijuana, and then added, "I'm not a marijuana smoker, but I did pull a Bill Clinton. I was handed a joint." What's puzzling, before we go here, remember, they said that these things were not offered, they were forced. The substances were forced on the people. And I implore you to understand, how can one last hours if they're all high, drugged up, half asleep, and passing out? But we'll continue. What's puzzling is how any of this testimony relates to federal charges Diddy is facing. it is puzzling. Diddy's pled not guilty to 2 counts of sex trafficking, 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, and 1 count of racketeering conspiracy. Hayes' erotic dancing and his large endowment are featured on YouTube videos. Plus, he's pretty active on IG and even wrote a book about erectile dysfunction and penis implants, In Search of Freezer Meat. And he said there's a few pages about Cassie and Diddy, though they're only referred to as married wealthy couple. Worth noting, he told the jury he got his Punisher nickname playing basketball at the West 4th Street courts in New York City, one of the most famous street ball destinations in the world. Listen, again, the testimony is salacious, but I think, they're doing so much of it now. We're getting desensitized to the salacious, at least I am, pieces of this case. It's like, okay, I already know y'all ready, well established as far as I'm concerned, that Diddy had his preferences, and that his preferences is what he liked to do. He liked to watch, then him and Cassie would go do something, and he liked to watch some more and pleasure himself while he was watching. I might as well go ahead and add to it. Cassie's mom took the stand. Again, I have nothing against any of these people. I have no dog in this fight, but I'm not sure what real testimony her mother offered. So Diddy trial. Cassie mom sent $20K to Diddy to recoup investment in singer's career. Regina Ventura, Cassie's mother, appeared in Manhattan courtroom Tuesday to testify in Diddy's federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial in New York City. And she revealed some shocking details about her daughter's relationship with the incarcerated defendant. The bruises is brutal, right? On the stand, Regina confirmed her daughter dated Sean Diddy Combs after the singer had signed with Bad Boy Records. She records meeting Diddy in 2006 and says her daughter and Diddy started dating, then moved to Los Angeles. I'll play that as soon as it gets queued up. Prosecution asked Regina to read a December 2011 message to her from her daughter. Regina related Cassie informed her Diddy had threatened to release a sex tape and intended to. Let's just take a look.
Do you feel vindicated, Ms. Ventura?
Watch your back.
What's next, Ms. Ventura? Are you excited for your grandson?
Smile. So Cassie's having a boy. I didn't realize.
What's your message to Diddy?
What's your message to Diddy?
We'll support you. You're okay. Do you think that he'll serve jail time? People are kind of questioning that.
Only y'all stay strong. I know it's hard.
Get right, please.
How's Cassie? Is she feeling like pretty good after this?
Okay.
Ms. Ventura, what's your message to other young women out there, to other mothers who might have daughters that are in situations like Cassie?
Shut up. Ms. Ventura, we with you.
Woo. So prosecution asked Regina to read a December 2011 message to her from her daughter. Regina related Cassie informed her Diddy had threatened to release a sex tape and intended to go after Cassie and Mr. Mescuddy, aka Kid Cudi, who Cassie began seeing during a break in a relationship with Diddy. Regina said Diddy demanded $20,000 from her and her husband in order to recoup money he invested in Cassie's career. She says she and her husband took out a home equity loan to cover the amount. Asked why she had taken out the loan, Regina answered, "For the safety of my daughter." The mother, that's interesting. The mother looks much younger now in the picture, in her live feed of her walking to the courtroom. Regina said Diddy's bookkeeper sent her information with the wire transfer instructions. Regina went to the credit union and wired the money to Bad Boy Records account. She testified that about 5 days later, the money reappeared in her account with no further communication from Diddy or the company. Regina confirmed photos shown in court in a binder where those she had taken of her daughter's bruises from Diddy. Regina also told the jury about a time when she visited her daughter in LA. There was an argument between Cassie and Diddy, and she said Diddy stole Cassie's phone. Things got heated on the street, and he gave back the phone and then took off in Cassie's Jaguar. The defense had no cross-examination questions for Regina Ventura, and the prosecutors moved on to their next witness. I wonder why they didn't want to ask Mom any questions. I guess they didn't kind of want to go down that road, the defense team. It's interesting. I would love to know their strategy in not asking Mom any questions whatsoever. I guess you cannot dispute the fact that money was wired to Diddy, the $20K, and then it appeared back in her account. That is interesting. There's no way the defense can deny or try to explain that, right? Because even if you wanted to say you were trying to scare her, that's threats, right? That's coercion. That's that's something real that happened. So maybe they wanted that to just fall out on the floor and leave it alone versus cross-examining her and then having that piece really stick out in the jury's mind. Anyway, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for watching. This trial right now, I feel like it's a whole circus. But not only that, between it being a circus, I feel like we are being desensitized to this DV stuff because they keep slamming it and slamming it and slamming it and slamming it home. And I understand that, right? And you got to remember that in the opening arguments, Diddy team already said, there's going to be domestic violence. We're not going to lie about that. He was in a relationship where domestic violence occurred. But how does this connect to the racketeering, the RICO, just everything? They got to somehow, in between each witness, if I was the prosecution, I would be honing in and slamming home on how this witness is connecting to the charges at hand. Listen, guys, thanks for watching. Hit the like button. I'll see you in the next video.